Let's roll.
Miss Foxy, what's up? Early gang, you know it, Miss Foxy, you were first.
Let's roll.
Yo, PM, what's up, PM? Good to see you, man. Been a while. I'm extremely happy with the Trump administration, PM. How about you? Get ready to move from Washington. I'm done being the odd one out in terms of red.
Let's move out.
Nice, Miss Foxy. You're going to be so much happier, Miss Foxy. You're going to be so much happier living around people that are not insane.
Nope.
Oh, there's so much, PM. It's impossible to keep up. And that's why it's like I'm almost giving up on even trying. Like there was no way I was going to read all of Trump's executive orders. How many executive orders has Trump issued now? Like 500?
Hey.
Hey, Russian A, Russian A.
Well, shit. It's all right. Right. Even at his lowest.
How did I not?
Griffin it is all.
Woo! Good stuff, brother. Triple. Woo! Sandwich. No!
Oh.
Save here. Stack a site.
Well, they went A and it worked, so now they'll go B.
Stack B.
Yeah. Or they'll pressure middle, but we'll find that out pretty quick.
Gear up. We are going on a windy walk here.
Let them push site.
Right, Miss Foxy. Sometimes the grass actually is greener. You're right.
Yeah, good stuff, brother. Under.
They smoked connector.
Might go cat. Come on, cat. Push. Get away. Apps. Watch out, apps.
One's still in middle.
Holding from bench.
I think they're in
He's going
underpass.
under. Yeah, they're going under.
We have the bomb to be clear.
We do? Where's bomb?
I killed the guy. He was right.
Oh, he's apps.
Ah, still on catwalk.
Cat,
What the fuck?
Oof.
Wow.
These apartments. Blue, what are you doing, you
Yeah,
fucker?
brother, what are you doing?
You son of a bitch!
Dude, if you didn't know, I ran out of ammo, okay? I ran out of ammo. I had to pick up another
You
gun.
also ran out of sight.
Grenade.
We're eliminating your whole bloodline, Blue. Straight up ethnic cleansing.
Goodbye.
Scoreboard, bro. Scoreboard. It's funny, all the liberals are into crazy conspiracy theories about Elon and the world elite, and it reminds me of all the Q stuff that went on. Oh, for sure, P. Yeah, that's a great point. That's a fantastic point. Yeah, no, the Democrats and the left are going insane.
Uh-oh.
Up, man. Just one so far.
I think he's clear.
I can tell you this, it ain't B.
Nice.
Oh, no, I took it back. I take it back. One is B.
Creeping up. Cap.
They're coming up B.
Counter-terrorists win.
Can you drop AK?
Take your dub on that. Have you guys? Let me see. How many press conferences did Trump do today? Because Trump has been doing like multiple presses. Because I want to watch those after this. Heck yeah, PM. Oh yeah. No, I'm seeing people post on Facebook like the most insane stuff. Like this is Hitler. This is Hitler taking over. Like Trump. You know. Ethnic cleansing. They're saying like this is Trump. Trump's engaging in ethnic cleansing. Trump is like engaged in genocide against trans people. Like just the most extreme statements. You know what I mean? And then people acting and doing the most extreme stuff, like saying that they no longer feel safe and that they're gonna go. Like it's like, wow, you guys are lunatics.
Bomb's top. Grenade out.
Nice.
Oh, thank you.
Bottom connector.
Don't let him play ones.
Counter-terrorists win. We took the piss out of them.
Dude, I'm loving the M4A4.
Same, brother.
I used to do
Drop. Orange. Drop.
Did Orange take? Okay.
Thank you.
New Famous isn't bad.
Oh, I haven't tried the new
So
Famous.
much better,
concerned
bro.
himself with the trappings of sheep, so if you need to talk to him, you have to talk to him.
Incendiary out.
Sure.
Incendiary.
Palace.
Incendiary. Throwing smoke.
It's a.
On my way.
Nice.
Mid one.
The heck is this guy doing? Oh yeah, let's see how many Trump things there were today.
Palace. Drop site.
Ooh, Tom Holman.
Last ram.
Deploying flashbang. Flashbang.
This.
Bait me out first. I'm lower.
Deploying flashbang.
I'm just better.
Getting stuck right in the
I could drop.
Are we rushing in? Or are we going
like how everybody's got a high headshot rate but me. I'm sad.
Throwing a grenade. Laying down
No
smoke.
headshot machine.
Throwing fire.
Can't wait for the left to twist themselves into a pretzel trying to defend income tax. Oh, I know, PM.
Throwing flashbang. Smoke.
I can't believe.
Top left,
Are,
down, punch.
PM, are the Democrats defending USAID at all? I haven't really seen any Democrats even actually try to defend USAID. Like, that stuff's so egregious. USAID was so egregious, like, Democrats won't even defend that corruption, will they?
Mid, con. Bomb down. Bomb's up mid. Just play bomb.
Top mid, top mid.
Nice.
He lost. Could go back underpass.
Oh, here, I'm just let him.
Window. Well,
Run away. Run like a coward. I love you. Thanks for being
Just counter
I
brother.
did 84 and 4 to him. No swing window.
I have on Reddit and Facebook saying how Trump taking away money from humanitarian projects around the world. Okay, that's, yeah, that is the one criticism. And it's like, well, if there's actually legitimate humanitarian projects, like Rubio can do that through Secretary of State. Like, we don't need USAID to do that because the rest of this crap is garbage. Guess what up, guys? Pisco's having a TDS meltdown because he claims there's a constitutional crisis on Wix debate right now. It's laughable. yeah. That's hilarious. No, that's the new line, though, guess. That's the new line. The Democrats are claiming it's a constitutional crisis, but they're not doing anything about it. I've heard multiple Democrats now today say we're in a constitutional crisis.
Cat. Abs last. Thank God.
Now we're really laying into them.
Can I have one of those back? I went alone. I got rushed
Numb,
by
what's
four
up,
SMGs and
Numb?
still killed
Is he
one.
really?
Please give me my op back, please, God. Okay, Blue's not gonna do it. He hates me. He's right to hate me. Oh no, he's not right to hate me. Oh hey, no, sell that. Sell it. Sell it.
Move it.
Oh, dude, this crappy silence thing? Are you kidding me, bro?
Yeah, man.
Throwing fire. Deploying decoy. Laying down smoke.
Smoke set.
Mid looks open. I would watch your A and B pushes.
Hey,
man.
bomb mid, bomb mid.
All dead.
Yeah, dude, I'm so sick of that silence button.
Palace dead.
Tetris.
Deploying flashbang.
Fire.
Another palace.
There's two.
Fire.
Too much fire.
Throwing a grenade.
Yeah, no doubt, guess. I can't believe that there's that many different ways that USAID was corrupt.
Take.
Safe.
Eh.
I guess it makes sense
parkour.
Terrorists win.
I think we force.
Let's have a debate.
It's like,
You gotta play a bit. Yellow, what the fuck?
Don't, I couldn't do anything.
Bomb has been planted.
Hey fellas, I'm gonna force a timeout real quick. Feel free to time if I don't make it out.
what's your saving?
Terrorists win.
Only scratched the surface. Yeah, I was thinking, what do you? Okay, so here's what I was thinking. Okay, like the USAID scandal, like the US aid or USAID scandal. It kind of makes sense that like that would be like a hotbed of corruption and scandal and misuse and fraud and waste and wokeism because, and here's why. Here's the key. Here's my point. Because that money is used in foreign places and therefore it's not used around Americans. It's used overseas. And so whoever's using it overseas is kind of on their own. There's not really anybody there to oversee it or know what's really going on. And sort of we only sort of occasionally or tangentially even like figured out like what the heck our money's going to. And when we do figure it out, it's like in a just horrible scandal. And it's like, well, it's a lot easier for them to get away with that overseas than it is for them to get away with it here at home. Right. So it makes sense that that's where it's at. And to follow up on that point, so I think like the reason it's so obvious that the corruption is in USAID is because it's for foreign aid and therefore it's not overseen by Americans. I think that also has to say something to say about maybe we ought to double check and double think like and double make sure that this Ukraine aid and other military aid that we've sending has not been rife with corruption.
Save here, blue.
Queen countrymen.
Stack.
If you go far enough left, you get your guns back. Flash B.
Take B.
Let them push side.
I stayed on the flames.
Two.
Cat one close, left peek.
There's a.
Blue one towards mid, that wasn't him.
I think we need a hard look at foreign aid since the president is the top diplomat and Congress has no power to engage in that since it violates the power of the executive. Right? Right, guess? Trump keeps finding their private slush funds and they are getting... Yup, PM. Yup. It's already out that Ukraine and such is the same. Right. I don't think there's as much proof as what's been exposed for USAID has been exposed for Ukraine, but I definitely think that there's gotta be similar stuff going on.
Let's go. Incendiary out.
Four pass on B.
Grenade out. Laying down smoke.
Several B.
Throwing fire.
Oh! What? How's he already there?
Terrorists win.
Is it? I never saw that. Here, let me check that out. Dan Bongino, follow the money.
Buyout, it's last.
Move it, son. Throwing fire. Throwing smoke.
A. Palace.
I agree, PM. I agree, PM. That's not foreign aid. You're right. That's a good point. That's not foreign aid. Trump with the follow. Thank you, Trump. Appreciate the follow.
Counter-terrorist win. We go.
I agree, guess. Yeah, absolutely. It's not a bad half. 12-7.
This is what we have been working for.
Let's push B.
Push B.
Push B. Let's go through cap though. I'll smoke off window.
Okay.
Smoke.
I got a flash for con. Go flash go. Push, 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 push.
Him and the rest are ready.
Playing for cap.
Bomb has been planted.
Cap. Under. Damn. One's coming out.
Oh, is he now?
100 P.
I'm ready.
Unless he saves pistol. Yo, yo, brother.
It's okay.
Jeez.
I was maybe typing in chat to talk some shit.
Terrorists
Nice.
win. Do this.
He never would have killed me otherwise.
Understandable. Alright, same thing, but we go B. SMG, so SMG. Just push them, they only have pistols.
Where now?
BBP. I'll throw the util.
Let's go. Let's
Just run it.
go.
got stuck on someone's fat body. Yeah!
Push, 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 push.
They don't have pistols, they have SMGs, you lie!
Why the fuck did you lie here? Noise. Someone watch out, someone watch out.
Pass and he's lit. Got it.
Coming up. Oh, cat naps.
Catnaps. App should be lit.
Apps. Nice, he dropped.
Plan for cat.
He's off. There you go.
We will dance on your graves.
Alright, let's play slow. Actually, no, we push him again, bro. They forced that round.
Yeah.
Push B.
Just keep doing it.
I mean, dude, they should be on pistols
Surely we'll
now.
go A this time, right?
Same thing,
If
just
we
push
win
out.
again this time, we do it again, and but next time someone throw a few nades today.
Push.
Fuck yeah.
No way! How
Got
did they still buy?
They got kills with SMGs, that's how.
One's cat, I swear.
Careful, Marky.
Yeah, one's going cat.
Alright, we'll take it this time.
Breaking the law.
Here, let me do it.
Alright. Do you know the util? Just throw a util and
I
a
can throw
decoy.
Yeah, I can throw a few fun.
Here, I'll throw a decoy for you. I'll throw one there. And I'll go back at. Fake B.
Move it.
Don't get seen, eh?
I'm throwing a flashback. The guy's up.
Tell me when.
I'm gonna throw a CT. Down. Go.
Jigs up.
Smoking for jungle. It's not perfect, but it'll work.
Planning cover.
I'm throwing fire.
Drop in the smoke.
Triple. Dead.
Default.
That should be opposite.
Fire, on fire.
We're smoking them. We're smoking them, boys.
I'm gonna try mid pick here. Blue.
Let's go.
I feel like a little gambling is in order today.
Blackjack.
Whatever. Thanks, Paul.
Oh well.
Last guy's gonna be CT or jungle.
Yeah, murder hole. He's outside of it.
I just
Activated the bomb.
let's go to CT.
Grenade out. Has been placed.
CT.
You crouched right into that, Blue. I'm so sorry.
Watch your back. If you try to sneak on the side, I'll get him. I'm bad, dude, but he's back in Ninja. He doesn't know where his mom is.
Yeah, no, we're good. Easy.
Yeah, it's a
Throw fire on the bomb, be funny.
Wow, it worked out.
Worked out great.
Listen, if you can't douse it in the brilliance, you baffle them with bullshit.
Listen, Yellow, I know you had the right idea, but like that was like the goofiest dub I've ever seen.
Hey, bro, work.
Hey, it worked. It worked, man. I'm gonna go Apex.
Let's go, my brother. Smoke. Sorry.
Every day I'm trying to live it stress-free, yeah.
Grenade out. Smoke.
I'm on fire.
Palace.
You're not on fire, Ricky Bobby.
Watch out, Palace. Nice.
How is he still alive? I saw the headshot thing. Did I hit the wall? Yeah, I did. I hit the fucking wall. That son of a bitch deserved to die.
Good win, brother.
Two more matches, boys. Two more matches. But first, I kind of want to see
And I've given, but for a little while it was one. And that's Mike Johnson, Speaker. Thank you very much, Mike, very much. And thanks as well to somebody who's doing a fantastic job, Senator Thune. Thank you very much, Senator. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's really great. And Leader Scalise, Steve, wherever you may be, I know I think you're here someplace. There he is, a brave guy, too. A brave guy, I always say it. And Senator Chuck Schumer. Chuck, thank you very much. Thank you. Senator Hassan, thank you very much. Thank you, very nice to see you. Congressman Jeffries, thank you. And many other very distinguished leaders in the room. It's a great group of people. If we could ever come together, it would be unbelievable. May not happen, but it should, and maybe it will. From the earliest days of our republic, faith in God has always been the ultimate source of the strength that beats in the hearts of our nation. We have to bring religion back. We have to bring it back much stronger. It's one of the biggest problems that we've had over the last fairly long period of time. We have to bring it back. Thomas Jefferson himself once attended Sunday services held in the old House chamber on the very ground where I stand today. So there could be nothing more beautiful than for us to gather in this majestic place. It is majestic, and reaffirm that America is and will always be one nation under God. At every stage of the American story, our country has drawn hope and courage and inspiration from our trust in the Almighty. Deep in the soul of every patriot is the knowledge that God has a special plan and a glorious mission for America. And that plan is going to happen. It's going to happen. I hope it happens sooner rather than later. It's going to happen. And it's His hand that guides us every single step of the way. And all of you and the things we have to do is to see the defining role that faith and prayer have played in the life of our nation. And you just have to look at this building, and you can look at each other. You can really look at each other. It's defined.
You can look at each other.
Everyone in this room. I think faith has been very strong with the people in this room. Just steps away from here in the Hall of Columns is the statue of John Winthrop, who famously proclaimed that America would stand as a city upon a hill, a light to all nations, with the eyes of all people upon us. Today, almost 400 years after that famous sermon, we see that with the Lord's help, the city stands taller and shines brighter.
So this is what the next 4 years will be. Liberals and left-wing anti-American NGOs will go to courts every day. Hopefully they lose every day. Hopefully they get exposed every day. The judges, they run to issue harsh treatments of J6 political prisoners, for sure. Did Donald Trump lose some? I fully expect Donald Trump to lose some court cases. When you're doing White House preparing order to cut thousands of federal health workers, the executive order could come as soon as next week. Dude, this would be awesome. The White House is working on an executive order to fire thousands of U.S. Department of Health and Human Service workers. Under the order, the FDA, CDC, and other health agencies would have to cut a certain percentage of employees. The order could come as soon as next week. After workers have an opportunity to take a buyout, the terms of the order haven't been finalized. The White House could still decide against going forward with the plans. The job cuts under consideration would affect, well, whatever. I hope that happens. We don't need to read about things that might happen. The D.C. neighborhood bearing the brunt of government job cuts. Oh gosh, guys, don't you feel sorry for the Capitol Hill enclave? Thank you for the follow. Because of the freeze? Because of the federal hiring freeze, Num? Yeah, I'm sure like where you're at, that's a massive deal, right, Num? Doesn't really impact anybody here in Montana. I mean, it does. For service workers or whatever, you know, but judge pauses deadline for federal worker buyout. A hearing is scheduled on Monday on whether to grant a temporary restraining order. House Republicans close in on budget deal after Trump meeting. House Republicans wrapped up a more than 4-hour meeting at the White House on Thursday, saying they had closed gaps in their own internal disagreements over extending expiring tax cuts and cutting spending. Indicated details of a deal could be announced as soon as Friday. Let's go back to this.
Than ever before, or at least it soon will. In that same hall, we also find the statue of the great Roger Williams, who founded the state of Rhode Island, named its capital city Providence, and built the first Baptist church in America. It's Williams that we have to thank for making religious liberty part of the bedrock of American life. And today we must protect the fundamental freedom with absolute devotion. We must stand strong, just like generations of Americans have done on the battlefields all around the world. Feet away from the magnificent rotunda, another statue watches over visitors to the Capitol. George Washington, the founder of our country, often called for Americans to join together in prayer, very often. And more than 2 centuries later, this morning, we heed President Washington's wisdom and follow in his mighty footsteps. He was a strong man and of great religious strength. The stories of legends like Washington, Winthrop, and Williams remind us that without faith in God, there would be no American story. Every citizen should be proud of this exceptional heritage. We have an unbelievable heritage, and we have to use that and make life better for everyone. That's why, as we approach the 25th times 10 anniversary, think of that, 250 years we'll be celebrating next year of our country's founding. I have signed an executive order to resume the process of creating a new national park full of statues of the greatest Americans who ever lived. We're going to be honoring our heroes, honoring the greatest people from our country. We're not going to be tearing down, we're going to be building up. It will be called the National Garden of American Heroes. Some of you will be on that soon to be hallowed ground. Some of you, let's see, I can pick a few of you right now by looking. There's a couple of you right now I can see. Let's see. It's the president's sole opinion. And I've given myself a 25-year period. And then somebody else. By that time, it'll be very, very built up. No, it will be something very special. And I hope that Congress will fully fund this wonderfully unifying project at the first possible opportunity. It's not going to be a lot of money. It's going to be very important, however, so that more of our people can be inspired by the faith and courage of patriots.
I agree.
Like those
I agree.
we honor in these halls. One of the incredible Americans whose memory my order will celebrate is also recognized with a statue in the Capitol representing the great state of North Carolina. And that's a man known who everybody loved, Reverend Billy Graham. He was something. My father used to take me to watch the Crusades. He would take me to Yankee Stadium. I remember it so well. I remember it more than I remember any Yankee game, and I've seen a lot of Yankee games. Can you believe it? And Billy didn't have a bat. So, it was just pretty good. It was amazing. You'd have 60 or 70,000 people, and they loved him. They loved him. I saw him with Franklin. I don't know if Franklin's here. I just don't know, but I've gotten to know Franklin. He's done a great job with helping on tragedies and problems like in North Carolina, California. He's always the first one there. The work he does is, his father's very proud of him, I can tell you that. But Billy Graham was very special. One floor below us, Reverend Graham's statue stands with an open Bible. The page turned to a letter from the Apostle Paul, which reads, "Let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap if we do not give up." Never give up. Never, ever give up. You can't. How about me? If I would have given up, I would not be here right now. Who the hell knows where I'd be? It might not be a good place. If it was up to the Democrats, it would not be a good place at all. Never, ever give up. There could be no better message for the leaders gathered here, and you are real leaders. And we must never give up, and we must never grow tired. We must never grow weary, and we always must practice good. As you know, last week only...
Whoa, Tim Sheehy got...
Thank you, Senator Sheehy.
How long would it take China to block the canal for our usage if they decided to do it? I know you're not military experts, but I think you've been in the canal 100 times. You're all experts on the industry. If they wanted to deny our usage of it, how long would it take them to do it?
Senator, I can say that prior to the year 2000, the canal had a quick reaction force that kind of took all possibilities into consideration, either a ship being stalled in the canal or to be able to move one out. I don't know what those capabilities or what the planning for that would be.
So effectively, we don't have a ready response. But if
I'm
China,
sure Southern Command does.
I don't like the mindset that's kind of pervaded, that there's this far off hypothesis that.
But Senator, you're not talking to military experts. We're here because of it's commercial reasons.
But this isn't a military question. I mean, if he's driven the canal 100 times and you are a maritime expert, you know, a couple of years ago, as you remember, you know, I think it was the Ever Given jackknifed in the Suez Canal. That's not a military operation. That's a ship that turns sideways. So if China chose to, how fast could they close the canal to our usage?
Well, they could probably do a similar thing, but it would more be an act of terrorism than it would be because they have facilities there. Most of this discussion has involved the economic threats that China is bringing up because of the Belt and Road Initiative and having these investments in other countries. But yeah, I mean, it's not hard to close off a waterway. Panama Canal is actually quite vulnerable in terms of infrastructure. It's not, you know, this is not a fort or militarily reinforced location. Now that's you're getting to the end of my knowledge of that, but no, it would not take long.
So in other words, thank you for answering the question. In other words, China could close down the canal in a second if they wanted to. Thank you. Yo, guess that disagreement you and Aaron had on the radio is the best part of the show? Did you really think so? Guess? Thank you, Guess. Thank you for saying that. I bet people like that. Harmony's in the house. What's up, Harmony? Good to see you. With the VIP badge and everything. Dang. Dude, thank you, Guess. I'm so glad you tuned in to Montana Talks on Thursdays, Guess. You the man. Appreciate that.
But I don't.
And I'm glad to hear that, Guess, because I figured that would be interesting radio. And I'm kind of putting myself out on a limb here, but I actually do like think that it's BS. That like I don't think the government can just come in and just like shut your business down or shut your organization down because they don't like you. Like that's what happened here. The government came in and shut this organization down just because they didn't like it. Like, I don't think that's okay, even if you disagree with the business itself, you know?
I don't know what it has to do with, it's not accelerated because they have people at other port, unless you believe that they're, in theory, it's easier to infiltrate those ports with Chinese spies than it is other kinds of things. But that's totally out of my purview. That's more science.
Well, I don't think it is out of your purview. I think the reality is the canal is an economic engine. It is also a national security engine. And I appreciate, I'm not trying to be combative or setting traps. I'm just trying to ask a common sense question, which is we can dance around. I'm not an expert in this. I'm an expert in that. But the canal is vulnerable, as we've stated.
I guess, Senator, I'm just sort of saying, why would they bother with a military-like operation when they can get what they want with non-military means? If they can have influence in other ways.
That's the point of the question.
Okay.
Is we segregate ourselves artificially in a way that they do not. We segregate ourselves. Well, let's talk about military. Let's talk about intelligence. Let's talk about economics. China doesn't work that way. It's a whole of government approach. They don't draw a delineation between an economics discussion and a military one. And their attack may not look like Pearl Harbor. It may look like an everyday ship that decides, it pulls into the locks and blows itself up, and now the locks are non-functional for our usage, and we can't support an inter-ocean fleet transfer. And our ability to defend it, as you referred to, Chairman, is now inhibited by the fact that we no longer have the military infrastructure around the canal that we did just as recently as 1999. So from a commercial perspective, do the shipping companies have concerns over the security of the narrow waterways? We've got Straits of Malacca, we've got Suez Canal, we've got Gibraltar, we've got Panama. Is that a concern that's thrown around in the boardrooms of the largest shipping corporations in the world?
Senator, I think it's something they think about every day. I mean, really, it's drawn into sharp relief with the Red Sea that it was what I call a pink flamingo. Like there's
yeah.
There's black swans that just come up, and there's pink flamingos that you can see but you don't act. But no one really thought a whole lot that one of the most important waterways.
I have not in a very long time, Harmony, but I was literally just thinking a little bit, like a half hour ago that I was going to try to read the Bible tonight. No, I haven't done Bible study in a long time. I need to get back into that too.
In the world could be denied, and moreover, that it could be denied for such a sustained period. The good news is that...
And denied, I might add, by a disaffected non-state actor of Bedouins running around with rocket launchers, who also managed to beat us in a 20-year war in Afghanistan. But my point to saying all this is we're just debating operational control of the canal. Yet it seems very clear to all of us that a very simple act can debilitate the canal and eliminate our ability to use it in a matter of minutes with no warning. And we have no ability to intervene or stop that. To me, that means we do not have operational control of the canal. Thank you, Chairman.
100% agree. Super well done. Super well done. Super well done. What else is going on? Oh my gosh, Eric Swalwell. Are you kidding me? Is this guy still in Congress?
How to help now, and two, how to address the root cause. We've seen has already made that point. Continue.
That's what a woman told me when she stood on a pile of ashes in the Palisades and brought gloves and a large garbage bag and searched for any memento for her child and walked away with a tin bowl that her daughter uses in her make-believe kitchen. She's not worried about the red team or the blue team. She's not worried about...
Is this guy still in Is Eric Swalwell even in Congress still? I thought that guy got, like, voted out. Oh, he is still in Congress. Eric Swalwell? I can't believe this guy's still in Congress.
Did DEI cause this or not? She just wants the government to help them. My colleagues, including Mr. Issa, we walked Altadena last week together. We heard the fire chief say these were 80-mile-per-hour winds. He said it would have taken every fire engine in California to stop the devastation that occurred in California. So I just asked my colleagues, let's work together on this. Let's be in the solutions business. Don't use DEI as an alibi. Because when the president blames DEI on an air disaster and blames DEI on a fire disaster, what that tells me is DEI to you stands for didn't even investigate. That's what it means to fire victims in California as well. So
Oh, that is absolutely hysterical, man. I did not know Eric Swalwell is a
winner. And just last one, because you mentioned it many times. What do you think about Joe Biden signing on with a talent agency?
You gotta be kidding. He signed on with a talent agency?
He does. He's got some entertainment agents now.
I think he's got bigger problems than that. I really do. I think he's got much bigger problems than that, but I wish him well. We inherited a mess. This place is a mess, but it's quickly being solved, the problem. We're going to make America great again. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding. Wow, dude.
Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis, a breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is Jan Tikau, Director of Eurasia Group's Europe team. Jan, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
We're at a really interesting time when we're looking at worldwide elections, and I would love your perspective here, especially from Germany, because we've seen this global shift to the right in recent elections, and Germany has seen a rise in momentum for the Alternative for Germany party. It's a far-right party. So to start off the conversation, can you explain what is AfD? What do they stand for? What is the party's platform?
Yeah, sure. I mean, AfD is a party that's not particularly old. It started about 11 years ago or so in Germany. And for the first 5 years or so, it was mostly a party that was concerned about economics. It didn't like Germany being part of the euro currency. It wanted the German Deutschmark back.
So it was a conservative kind of economics club, if you will. And then about 5-6 years ago, that became a lesser concern, and the whole party started to be really energized by migration issues, by other more far right classic topics. Strong nationalist streak came in.
I'm here with U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent in Washington. Mr. Secretary, thank you for joining me.
So good to see you.
Mr. Secretary, we are inside the cash room at the Treasury Department. It is almost impossible to overstate how important the work that is done in this building is to the U.S. financial system. Yet right now, there is widespread concern about the DOGE team's access to sensitive payment systems. Are you worried at all that that access and that tinkering of the payment systems could affect the Treasuries market or cause any disruption?
Good. Well, Saleha, thank you for asking me about that, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. First of all, when you say the DOGE team, these are Treasury employees. It is 2 Treasury employees, one of whom I personally interviewed in his final round. There is no tinkering with the system. They are on read-only. They are looking, they can make no changes. It is an operational program to suggest improvement. So we make 1.3 billion payments a year. And this is 2 employees who are working with a group of longstanding employees.
The letter that the Treasury Department sent earlier this week talked about how the team currently does not have access to change the system. Have they at any point this year had the ability to make changes?
Absolutely not. This is no different than you would have at a private company. And by the way, the ability to change the system sits over at the Federal Reserve. So it doesn't even lie in this building. So they could make suggestions on how to change the system, but we don't even run the system.
And if they ask for, if they request the ability to change the system, would you grant that?
No, again, they have no ability to change the system. I have no ability to grant that change. That they can make suggestions, then it would go to the Federal Reserve, and just like any large ERP system, there would be tests, there would be this, there would be that, and then the Fed will determine whether these changes are robust or not.
As the Secretary of Treasury, you also oversee the...
So in other words, it makes perfect sense. It's a great idea. It's a wonderful thing. And quit spreading lies and misinformation about it and trying to think it's bad.
IRS, do you know what kind of access the team has to IRS data or individual taxpayer data?
Well, I'm glad you asked that too, because look, the IRS, the privacy issue is one of the biggest issues. And over the past 4 years, we've seen a lot of leaks out of there. The IRS systems are quite poor. When I started in college in 1980, I learned the program in COBOL. I think there are 12 different systems at the IRS that still run on COBOL, but as of now, there is no engagement at the IRS.
And if they request that access, would you sign off on that request?
They haven't, so we'll take that when it comes to it. I think there is a lot to do there, but the president was elected with a big agenda, and to the extent that getting the IRS in better shape is part of that, sure. Because look, with the IRS, what am I concerned about? I am
good. Quit pussy. Yeah, I am sending DOGE into the IRS. Come on, Scott Bessent, be a little bit stronger on here.
Concerned about collections. I'm concerned about privacy, and I'm concerned that the system is robust.
But do you
and customer service.
But do you think that if they ask for access, that is something you would consider signing off on?
There are a lot of things I'd consider, but look, we're in the middle of the tax filing season right now. We even, with the government buyouts that expire at midnight tonight, we have mandated that the IRS customer-facing employees, that they're not eligible for that until May 15th. So I don't imagine anything's going to go on at the IRS until then or beyond.
Elon Musk just half an hour ago, tweeted out that Treasury needs to stop approving certain payments. Has your staff tried to block any payments here at Treasury?
We have not, and I'm glad you asked that too. And just to put in perspective, Elon and I are completely aligned in terms of cutting waste and increasing accountability and transparency for the American people. I believe that this DOGE program in my adult life is one of the most important audits of government or changes to government structure we have seen. That when I was in my 20s, we had the Grace Report, and there's some great suggestions that came out of that, never implemented. Under Clinton and Gore, I think it was to government efficiency or reduce government. Nothing happened. So President Trump came in, there's a big agenda, and I think that there are gigantic cost savings for the American people here. And I think it's unfortunate the way the media wants to lampoon what is going on. These are highly trained professionals. This is not some roving band going around doing things. This is methodical, and it is going to yield big savings.
At any point, would you heed what Musk just tweeted and stop payments from coming through Treasury?
Look, most of that happens above us, that it comes from the departments and the agencies. We are doing a complete review, and I want to emphasize to you and everyone watching that it is an operational review. It is not an ideological review. We want to make sure that the American people are getting the best practices, and I don't think that's happening right now.
The systems here at Treasury, they're known to be a little antiquated, but very, very sensitive, but also they're working. I'm hearing, at Bloomberg, we hear a lot about investors being concerned that this could hit markets in some way or start to cause a loss of confidence. What, as a longtime hedge fund investor, do you have a response to those concerns?
People shouldn't be concerned. That at Treasury, we move deliberately and we fix things. That's the way we work. So everyone should know that all the payments are going to be made, they're going to be in good order, and at the end of this review, there are going to be substantial savings for the American taxpayer.
Mr. Secretary, you have experience in currency markets, and now in your new role, you oversee U.S. currency policy. I'd like to ask you, what does a strong dollar mean to you?
Well, first of all, the strong dollar policy is completely intact with President Trump, and I was very happy at his Economic Club of New York speech in August when he re-emphasized the importance of maintaining the dollar reserve currency status. But let's think about, what does a strong dollar mean? It really means four things. One, that when we think about a fiat currency, a piece of paper is credibility. So a strong dollar is credibility and a rule of law that is backing it up. Two, it means a composite price on the screen, the Bloomberg Currency Index, that is the dollar moving up against that. Three, it is a bilateral price. So what's important to remember is the dollar is either weak or strong versus something else. So we want the dollar to be strong. What we don't want is other countries to weaken their currencies to manipulate their trade. And then fourth, that we want to have the best policies that create the environment for a strong dollar.
Let's talk about other nations and how they manage their currencies. The president has asked for a tariff study from several of his cabinet officers or incoming cabinet officers due April 1st. And the Treasury piece of that is to assess how to handle when foreign nations manipulate their currencies. Do you see any evidence of manipulation in foreign exchange rate markets right now?
Well, we'll wait till the study comes out, but I think just intuitively, you and I could agree that when you see the accumulation of these large surpluses, that there is not a free-form trading system that's going. It could be due to the level of the currency. It could be due to trade restrictions. It could be due to some interest rate repression policy. So it could be any of those.
Are there any countries that you're monitoring or watching specifically right now? I know the president in the past has labeled China as a currency manipulator. Do you see any other nations that need to be closely watched?
Well, I think we'll see on April 1st. And as you know, that China is the most unbalanced economy in the history of the world, and they are in a deep recession right now. They're experiencing deflation, and they're trying to export their way out of that. And we can't allow that. We want fair trade, and part of that is taking a strong position on the currency and the terms of trade.
Yesterday, the Treasury Department had its first quarterly refunding since you were confirmed. Do you have any plans of looking at how the Treasury's debt issuance strategy comes together?
Well, I think the good news is that the trajectory of the borrowing is dropping. So I was very happy to see that. It's one of the few good surprises I was left by the previous administration. So the trajectory is good, and the government's well-financed into the third quarter, and I believe that as it becomes apparent that the president's agenda is working, that we'll see a great deal of non-inflationary growth. And I think that will help us calibrate what the debt policy should be. But I don't foresee any changes in the issuance for the foreseeable future.
And what about the process? Do you think that TBAC is the most effective way of getting feedback from markets?
Well, I want to thank all the members of TBAC who are here this week. They are a very elite group. I think that maybe over time, we need to think about the style of engagement. It has turned into more of a research think tank than direct market engagement, and that's going to require some changes from both sides. I believe when TBAC was originally started, it was supposed to be a market feedback mechanism, a little less of a think tank, and we've been assigning research.
Dude, this is juiced palmetto and tangerine. Like palmetto is like a grapefruit type of thing, and you guys know what a tangerine is. It is freaking pretty sour and pretty intense.
Projects. So I think there's some recalibration on both sides, but I think that whatever we do, TBAC will still exist.
Mr. Secretary, you said yesterday in an interview that the Trump...
This is a pretty darn good interview, even though she's obviously mainstream media, but Scott Bessent could be a little bit more aggressive and stronger, but otherwise I think he's doing all right.
Trump administration is more focused on long-term yields than what the Federal Reserve is doing, which is a bold statement. I want to ask, how do you plan to keep a lid on yields, considering the deluge of debt issuance that is coming down the pike, and also some of the inflationary risks that are ahead?
Well, one of the things I wanted to emphasize is that we are not focused on whether the Fed is going to cut, not cut. What we are focused on is lowering rates. So we are less focused on the specific of rate cuts and how do we get the whole curve down. I mentioned that the 10-year, I believe, is the important price to focus on. It's mortgages, it's long-term capital formation. So, and look, I think with the president's policies of energy dominance, deregulation, and non-inflationary growth, I think that the 10-year is going to naturally come down. And then, look, on top of it, what if we do get some big savings on the spending side from the DOGE programs? Like, let's think of a naive formula. Government equals spending minus taxes. For my entire career, and beyond, maybe even back to pre-FDR, government equals spending minus taxes. The S, the Republicans, we like spending. We just wanted to raise it less. The Democrats want to raise it more. Taxes, Democrats want tax increases. We want tax cuts. What nobody's thinking about is, what if the S actually went down? What if it actually goes down because of everything we're doing right now?
But what about the inflation concerns that are stemming from the tariffs and tariff threats?
Yes, we need spending cuts. I love that.
Look, I'm not sure that where this narrative that tariffs for the country putting on the tariffs is inflationary, that we could have a small one-time price adjustment, that as we saw in Trump 1.0, that the deregulation and the other policies, we stayed right around the Fed's target level. So I'm unconcerned about that. You know, I think especially that China now, given all their excess capacity, will, no matter the level of the tariffs, will end up eating quite a bit.
There's a lot of uncertainty around tariffs. We see them threatened or signaled, and then they're taken back. It appears as if this administration might be unfriendly to businesses. Is that right?
Really, I think it's just the opposite. I think this is the most pro-business administration in history. And everything we are doing is going to
really good. Call her out.
Return on capital. And as a result, working Americans will have very high real wage growth. That what we've seen over the past 4 years is the government and government adjacent sectors providing the employment growth. And why have we experienced this affordability crisis? First, there was a massive spending met by increased regulation, which caused inflation. And then government and government adjacent jobs do not cause real wage growth because they move up at CPI. So, I think that we are going to not only be business friendly, but very, very friendly for working Americans.
We're seeing companies already under some stress from the tariff threats. China is investigating Google. And also, as you know, are well aware that businesses like to be able to plan ahead, but with so much policy uncertainty, that predictability factor is gone. That all points to a little bit of a tougher environment.
Well, look, I think the best thing we can do for predictability is make the Tax Cuts and Job Act permanent. That would be the single best thing we could do for predictability. We can go back to the 100% expensing and add some new features that I think business is
literally, it's like the Democrats are literally holding up this certainty here.
going to be very happy with. But again, the most important thing is that it filters down to working wages, which is what we saw in President Trump's first administration. Hourly workers did better than supervisory workers.
Well, let me ask you about the tax plan then. On the campaign trail, Trump floated no taxes on tips and cutting the corporate rate and a lot of other proposals. How are you going to juggle which campaign promises are high on that the priority list for the bill, considering how costly everything would be?
Well, that we're just starting the process now, and we'll.
All right. Man, he did pretty good. Nancy May's questions mission about government-funded transition.
Thank you all for being here today. I will now recognize myself for 5 minutes of questioning.
I love when these Congress people recognize themselves. I'm going to recognize myself. Yo, what's up, fighter, killer, riding fins, bad boys? Excuse me, I'm going to recognize myself here. Hello?
Mr. Goodman, in your written statement, you state the White Coat Waste Project identified at least $10 million in NIH grants for transgender animal experiments. You state that 95% of the funding came from Dr. Fauci's NIAID. Why is the federal government spending taxpayer dollars to create transgender animals?
Great question.
Your microphone.
Thank you. It's a great question. I mean, I wonder why they're making cats constipated also. It's a question that rings around in my head at night when I'm going to bed, why we're funding these things. A lot of the programs that are funded do latch on to some type of social trend, and then animal experimenters use it as a money grab, as an excuse to get NIH tax funds from some, in this case, DEI grants were used to fund a lot of this stuff. So people who abuse animals find some kind of excuse to bring in new money, and they'll switch their research program over to something that's trendy to bring tax dollars into their university. I mean, that's part of the big problem here, is that colleges and universities are taking 25 to 40% off the top of every single one of these grants for indirect costs that go into a slush fund that has nothing to do with the research. So they're willing to let experimenters do whatever they want to animals to keep the money flowing in.
Some people might describe that as money laundering. All right, are sex change experiments that forcibly transition mice, rats, and monkeys necessary for science?
Absolutely not.
Why do these experiments at all, if they aren't producing useful human relevant research? Why again, you think it's a money issue? Follow the money.
Animal testing is big business.
As you know, I've been long vocal about animal experiments and federal funded animal testing, and worked with you to prevent Fauci's plan to waste almost $2 million in taxpayer dollars to
what in the world, dude? That's unbelievable. So great, dude. This is a full-on, we're exposing them. It's Congress, it's Trump, it's DOGE. Whoa, what's this?
ਤੋਂ ਵੱਡਾ ਐਲਾਨ ਕੀਤਾ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਮੁਲਕ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੰਬੰਧਿਤ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੋਕ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਗਲਤ ਢੰਗ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਦਾਖਲ ਹੋਏ ਔਰ ਉੱਥੇ
100 Indians arrived deported? US Air Force?
ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਹਾਜ਼ ਦੇਖ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਸਾਫ਼-ਸਾਫ਼ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ US Air Force ਯਾਨੀ ਕਿ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਮਿਲਟਰੀ ਦਾ ਜਹਾਜ਼ ਹੈ ਉੱਥੋਂ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ 에ਅਰ ਫੋਰਸ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਦਾ ਜਹਾਜ਼ ਹੈ ਜੋ ਕਿ 110 ਯਾਤਰੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਪਹੁੰਚਿਆ ਤਾਂ ਇਹ ਤਸਵੀਰਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ US ਮਿਲਟਰੀ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਉਹ ਜਹਾਜ਼ C-17 ਜੋ ਕਿ 104 ਭਾਰਤੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਮਰੀਕਾ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਸੀ ਗਲਤ ਢੰਗ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਇਹ ਜਹਾਜ਼ ਜੋ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ
Wow, dude. Flippin' wow, dude. Wow. Isn't that hilarious, PM?
And was this a part of this Aurora operation promise that Trump made, or separate arrests? How many were arrested yesterday?
Well, President Trump's made a promise to American people that we're going to concentrate on trying to deliver. They're one of our priorities. As far as yesterday, operational security, the operation was leaked. And again, we're going to hold those people accountable once we find out what the leaks occurred. This isn't a game. When the operations get leaked like that, it puts our officers at great risk. It's already a dangerous job. We know TDA is dangerous. Everybody can agree to that. But when they get a heads up we're coming, it's only a matter of time before our officers are ambushed. And their job's dangerous enough. So we're going to address this very seriously. And look, I said from day one, we want to be transparent with the American people. We've invited numerous media outlets along. But right now, it's all about OPSEC, operational security. So we may have to stop the media ride-alongs because I'm not pointing the finger at them, but the less people that know about these operations, the safer it is for our agents. So we're looking at that right now. I'm talking to Colonel Levitt about the next steps on that.
Sir, why was Chicago singled out in the lawsuit today against sanctuary cities?
Look, sanctuary cities are sanctuary for criminals. I'm glad we got Pam Bondi running the DOJ now. Sanctuary cities are sanctuary for criminals. Make that clear. No, they want the sanctuary.
That's horrible, Nom. That's terrible.
Victims and witnesses of immigration crime to be free to come to the police and without fear of us working with ICE. That is such crap. Because the victims and witnesses of crime don't want the public safety threat released in their communities. That's just ridiculous. The victims and witnesses of that crime want that bad guy locked up too. And when they're done, then give them to us. That keeps the community safer. If anybody wants an immigrant community, ask them a simple question: would you rather have ICE operating in a jail or the community? They're going to say they want us in a jail because these immigrant communities, many are here illegally, but they also are family people too. They don't want a predator in their neighborhood released back in the community. So, we're going to hold sanctuary cities accountable. We're going to take them on it, and we'll take them to court. Again, it's
wow, Nom, that's terrible.
Governor, every elected city councilman.
Yeah, these people need to be arrested.
Their community safe too, and they would want public safety threats removed from their community. That's your number one responsibility, is protection communities. Work with us. Let us in the jail to arrest and talk to the guy that you locked in a jail cell. You obviously locked him in a jail cell because he's a public safety threat. Let us talk to him. When you're done, give him to us. You don't have to hold him a minute. I've seen some sheriffs say, well, we're not going to hold him for ICE. We think it's a legal issue. You don't have to hold him a minute past what you know. Just let us know when you release him. Let us be there. Let law enforcement work for law enforcement.
Do you want Catholic Relief Services? Sir, Catholic Relief Services says it's facing drastic internal cuts. It's asking President Trump to please keep the foreign aid going. Talking about Catholic Relief Services. What do you say, sir?
I got no comment on that. That's not. I'm a border guy.
Do you want local police? Do you want local police to make arrests at traffic stops?
I want local police to do what they can to assist arresting and removing public safety threats from the communities.
Are you concerned about capacity? There's reports that some migrants are being released because ICE beds are over capacity. And
I'm not
local
worried.
sheriffs-
There are many ways to increase the bed capacity. That's what we're working on today.
Are some detainees being released?
I was made aware of that this morning, and I'll address that today. But I've been told that some were released because of some health concerns that we could not handle within ICE detention. So I have a meeting with ICE leadership today to find out exactly who was released and why. But the president made it clear we're ending catch and release.
6% were released according to the press secretary yesterday. Does that go against the president's promise?
I'm going to find out again. I just got back in town today. I heard about this morning, so I'll address that today. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Can you remind to increase
capacity? How many and what does that process look like?
Look, we've had a migrant processing center at Gitmo for decades, so we're increasing our footprint there. It makes sense. I just got a question on migrant beds. That's going to be another place where we have up to 30,000 beds. And President Trump made a commitment.
Love this guy so much.
That's what we're
How much is it cost?
Mr. Holman, do you feel like ICE is doing enough? Are they meeting their marks for your expectations? Do you think that they're meeting them?
Are we making enough arrests? Is that the question?
Do you think ICE is doing enough? That
No.
they're meeting their quotas?
No, they're doing a great job. Look, we're doing a great job. We got to do more. And that's what we're looking at now. We're looking at ways to create more efficiencies to do more. That's why OPSEC is important. When we go on these operations, the operation got leaked somehow, it makes us less successful. Again, when you leak an operation, it means more bad guys are not being arrested, which means more bad guys are walking the streets. So as we address that, you're going to see the rest increase. As the aperture opens up beyond criminals, you're going to see more arrests. I made it clear. If you're in the country legally, you're not off the table.
ICE hasn't posted a arrest number in several days.
Boom!
Because arrests are down.
No, I think the arrest numbers, I looked at it, I just talked about this morning. I think the arrests were right around over 11,000 so far since day one. On the interior, 11,000. But the most important thing to look at, the border numbers. I mean, yesterday.
That's pretty good. In 2 weeks, two and a half weeks, they've already arrested 11,000. I mean, they need to ramp up the pace, but that's pretty good. I mean, that's amazing. I wonder how many employees ICE had to start with. I'm surprised Biden didn't try to fire all the ICE employees before he left.
In 24 hours, there was less than 500 border arrests. It wasn't too long ago. We had 11,000 arrests a day on the Biden administration. We got less than 500. I've done this since 1984. Those numbers are historic. So the president's already had this border secured at a high rate, and we're going to continue to secure the border 100%. This administration under President Trump will finally have operational control of our southern border.
Are you saying
How long will detainees?
That'll be awesome. That'd be amazing.
From ahead of this operation?
That's being investigated now.
How long will the migrants be staying at Guantanamo? How long will they stay there?
We're going to follow the same legal process we follow here. So we're staying, they'll be bedded down at Gitmo rather than bedded down in the United States. The same legal process, the same requirements to see a judge, the same requirements they can make a claim. So it's just a matter of where they're located. But it's a place that we can build upon, that we can send the worst of the worst to sit in that Gitmo. And it makes perfect sense to me what we're doing.
Sir, visas for foreign-born Catholic priests who work legally in U.S. parishes and Catholic social services. Where does that stand right now?
I do not know how to get back to you.
Texas Governor Abbott has offered thousands of prison cells in Texas to house detainees. Do you plan to take him up on that offer? And also the 1,400 acres that they had offered for detention center.
Look, I met with hundreds of sheriffs. We're looking at, contracts with sheriffs for their beds, which come at a reduced cost. The most expensive beds we have, the one the U.S. government owns. So we're looking at the sheriffs across the country, and Governor Abbott made an offer yesterday. So we'll be looking at that. All cards on the table. We're looking for as many beds as we can get. We just got to hope Congress gives the funding to buy as many beds we need. And I know they're talking about that today. So hopefully we'll get a budget. We can increase the bed capacity.
When do you think the deportation flights in Guatemala and El Salvador start after Rubio's appearance?
Mexican National Guard at the border. Do you have any idea what their mission is going to look like?
The same as the first Trump administration. They're going to help us secure the border. I mean, President Trump has made it clear Mexico has to help. Guarding their northern borders keeps Mexico safe too. But the president been clear that the border is going to be secured. While partnership with Mexico is very important, and having their people on the northern border, along with what Pete Hegseth has sent to the southern border, along the border trace, it means a more secure border. We know the death threat
Good meeting at the White House.
Oh, wow. This was just posted 20 minutes ago.
Very productive. We had a large cross-section of members there from committees of important jurisdiction. The president started off the meeting and sort of set the table for the discussion, and we stayed there in the cabinet meeting room for, I don't know, maybe 4 hours or longer. We got out the whiteboards and we worked out the framework for what we believe will be the path forward, and we're going to meet again tonight to finish up some final details. I think we'll be able to make some announcements probably by tomorrow, and we're excited about that. The idea would be to get the budget committee working potentially as early next week, maybe Tuesday, for a markup for the budget resolution, and then we'll unlock this process and get it moving. So our message to our friends and colleagues in the Senate is allow the House to do its work. We are moving this as quickly and as expeditiously as possible. Very positive developments today. We're really grateful to the president for leaning in and doing what he does best, and that is put a steady hand at the wheel and get everybody working, and that's what happened today. So we're excited about it.
Yeah, where are the sticking points?
I'm not going to get into the details because that's the part of our discussion tonight, and we all committed that we wouldn't go out and telegraph all this before it's finally done, but it's very close, and I think probably by tonight we wrap it all up.
Are you going back to the White House, or are you going back to the White House?
No, we'll be doing it here.
Is the president coming?
No, he's not. He's not needed.
So are you expecting to have budget?
What? He said the president's not coming? That video, dude, the video of the Indian citizens arriving on a U.S. military jet is amazing. Ayanna Pressley lambasts Elon Musk. Trump rips the opposite side at National Prayer Breakfast. Kathy Hochul announces developments for New York job training. MTG. Carolyn Levitt brings the receipts on Trump's key tax. Oh my gosh, what's this?
Tax cuts, if I could, the House Republicans are floating the idea of a 5-year extension of the Trump tax cuts. President Trump wants it permanent. Would he sign a bill that has just a 5-year extension?
So I'm glad you brought up taxes. Do you mind holding this so I can bring my receipts? I like to bring the receipts. So these are the tax priorities of the Trump administration that the president has laid out for members in that meeting today. No tax on tips, which is obviously a very public campaign promise that the president made. No tax on seniors' Social Security. No tax on overtime pay. Renewing President Trump's 2017 middle-class tax cuts. Again, these are the president's priorities. Adjusting the SALT cap. Eliminate all the special tax breaks for billionaire sports team owners. Close the carried interest tax deduction loophole. Tax cuts for Made in America products. This will be the largest tax cut in history for middle-class working Americans. The president is committed to working with Congress to get this done.
Wow, what a set of tax cuts. Holy cow, that's a lot of tax cuts, man. That's a lot of tax cuts. Interesting. So nothing else. There's really no other. Oh, this is probably really good.
300,000 deportations a year. He put child asylum seekers in jail-like conditions, and he was also called the deporter-in-chief by Latino activist groups.
We're not talking about President Trump. We're actually talking about President Barack Obama. However, both presidents had something in common. Tom Homan, a cop, Border Patrol agent, and the man tasked to create the agency we now know as ICE. He writes in his memoir why illegal immigration should not be a partisan issue. He also supports the family separation policy, something he says is not about punishment, but about consequences. So while the country braces for the sweeping changes for immigrants in this country, Tom Homan says he's just getting started. Border Czar Tom Homan joining us now. Good to see you. Appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about the raids that we've
This
been
guy is such
on.
Tom Homan is one of the best. He's one of my favorites in the Trump administration.
On the initial phase, all about going in for those criminals, the violent criminals. Now I'm reading about car washes, going after certain businesses, arrests being made. If you're an illegal immigrant, you're out of there. So tell us exactly how many of these arrests actually involve people with criminal records other than illegal entry.
Look, I'm looking at the numbers this morning. We're about 14,000 arrests. and about 76% of them are criminals. That's the target of the operation, right? But where the collateral arrests happen when we're looking for the bad guy, and we find others with them. And we have told ICE officers they're going to enforce the law. Unlike the last administration, we're not telling ICE agents, ignore the oath you took, ignore the immigration.
Hold on. Where is a current list of confirmed Trump appointees? Do we have a list of all the cabinet nominations? I thought, are they delaying that crap, or who's all been approved? Okay, so let's see. Confirmed, vote. Okay, so we got Pam Bondi. Howard Lutnick, Pete Hegseth. Oh, I guess actually, see who people say. We'll see who people vote for in terms of the. I think Tom Homan's my favorite. Like, I like Pete Hegseth. I like Pam Bondi. I don't really know anything about Howard Lutnick. Don't know much about Linda McMahon. Don't know much about Chris Wright. RFK Jr. I'm happy to have him. Really like Kristi Noem. Don't know Scott Turner. Doug Burgum, I'm not really a huge fan of. Don't know that much about him, though. Don't know who the Secretary of Labor is. Marco Rubio, I like him, but I don't think he's anybody's favorite. Scott Bessent, it's like he seems Treasury. He seems good, but again, nothing special. All these guys are good. They're great. But like when you really want to like start stacking them up against each other, it's like, dude, Tom Homan's the man.
Law. Your immigration officers enforce those laws.
I haven't seen that. No, yes, I heard that something got released though on that.
And here's a problem. I would love to arrest a bad guy in a city or county jail, but in sanctuary cities we don't have access. So they're going to release a public safety threat back into the community, which I think is foolish. Puts the community at risk, puts our officers at risk, and puts the alien at risk, because anything can happen on street arrest. So if sanctuary cities want to force me in the communities, find a bad guy, that's what we'll do. And when we find a bad guy, many times with others. If they're in the country legally, they're coming too.
Let me ask you about the numbers. It's been reported that you've got a goal of 1,500 arrests per day. Are you hitting that? Is there pressure to reach that goal, to get the numbers up?
I don't have a quota. I don't have a goal. I want to arrest as many as we can arrest.
So there's no word from the White House, we need more numbers.
I have sent no quota out there, but I've told ICE, I have asked a question this morning, are you happy with the number of ICE arrests? No, I'm not. We need to do more. We got over 700,000 illegal aliens in this country with a criminal conviction. So 500 a day, no, it's not good enough. We need to find these people and take them off the street.
You talk about taking down the violent criminals, the gang members, but then the illegal immigrants at places like the car washes and other businesses. What's your message to businesses if they have these folks working for them right now?
Well, I think I said from day one, the president's been clear.
That's a crime. If they've got illegals working for them, that's a crime. My message is, hey, stop committing crimes.
We're concentrating on public safety threats and national security threats. But if you're in the country legally, you're not off the table, but you're not going to be a priority. But I'm sure at the car wash, I'm not familiar with that operation, but I'm sure they're looking for a criminal, and they found others. But worksite enforcement is coming back. And why? Because number one, a lot of the employers will employ illegal alien. No one hires an illegal alien out of the goodness of their heart. They hire them because they work them hard to pay them, unless they're under competition as U.S. citizen employees. But most importantly, what do we find most victims of trafficking? Work sites. They have to pay the cartels off. They force them in labor situations, overwork them, abuse them. So many victims of trafficking are found at work sites. So that's another reason why we're doing worksite enforcement operations.
So during the campaign, President Trump talked about going after.
The legal case with Trump. CBS had to release the full unedited interview. It is bad. 60 Minutes basically made a new interview from the footage they did not cut. Wow. Joe Rogan said he will release all the communications he had with Harris to prove everything she is saying and her staff is saying is an outright lie. Wow. I think Trump's right. Trump says that CBS thing is the biggest media scandal ever. I think he might be right.
They're hardened criminals, right? The worst of the worst. Is that really who you're finding right now? The Washington Post we were just talking has a story about a man who's been in the country 24 years. He's got 4 children here. Works at a chicken processing plant, which, you know, sometimes get hard up for labor. And he had 1 conviction of driving without a license. And he's now being deported. Is that really what you want to do?
2 things. The priority right now is public safety threats and national security threats. And everybody we go to arrest, when we arrest a public safety threat, we know exactly who we're looking for, more or less where we're likely to find them, and other information. We have his criminal history, have his immigration history. These are planned enforcement operations. It's not a sweep. We're not going through the neighborhood looking for people different than us. These are well-planned, investigated leads. Then we go.
I don't know why CNN keeps attacking the DOGE employees as young and inexperienced when 1, they are young AI experts, and 2, don't know that half of the govies barely know how to use a computer and click on phishing emails constantly. Don't know that. Right. I'm 100% with you, Nam. And it's ridiculous how much they're freaking out about this, and it's working wonderfully. And the DOGE is actually real. I thought DOGE was going to be sort of like a gimmick, but it's like actually real. And these are actual employees. It's like that's what Scott Besson said. I don't know if you heard the freaking Secretary of the Treasury said, yeah, you can call them DOGE if you want, but these are actual employees. We've hired them. Elon Musk is an employee at this point. So what you're going to attack these guys, you're attacking federal workers. Now you're putting lives at risk. They're getting death threats. These are federal workers they're public servants. These are public servants, and now you're putting their lives at risk by speaking out against them and spewing hate against public servants.
Go out and look for the person we're looking for. But that person just messaged, is that country legally?
Yeah.
He shouldn't be here.
He's got 4 kids. He's working.
If we want to send a message to the whole world, it's okay to enter the country legally. It's a crime, but don't worry about it. Hide out long enough and have a U.S. citizen child, you're immune. If that's the message we send to the whole world, they're going to keep entering this country legally. More aliens would die making that journey. You'll keep overwhelming the Border Patrol. When the Border Patrol gets overwhelmed, that's when the fentanyl comes across the court to kill 250,000 Americans. That's when sex trafficking goes up 600%. That's when the numbers of known suspected terrorists cross the border when the Border Patrol gets overwhelmed. If you're in this country illegally, you got a problem. It's not okay to enter this country legally. It is a crime.
Fair enough. So you're not just going after hardened criminals and the worst of the worst.
Well, absolutely. That is our priority.
Not just.
That is our priority, but that doesn't mean everybody else is off the table. If we run into somebody's not a priority, we will enforce immigration law. Name another federal agency or another law enforcement agency that we tell them don't enforce the law. It's just ICE. We're going to enforce law. We're going to enforce laws enacted by Congress and signed by the president. If Congress is going to enact laws that they don't want to enforce, then I think better.
Right. No, that's terrible.
Look, people need to understand illegal immigration is not a victimless crime. People say, well, coming here for a better life. I get that. But when you cause a crisis as big as the Biden administration did that overwhelms the border to where 70% of agents pulled off the line, that's when all the bad stuff happened. I've been doing this for 34 years. People don't understand what happens to these people. There's been studies done that 31% of women that make that journey through the cartels get sexually assaulted. They get raped, not once, but numerous times. Children die in that border every day. While you and I are talking right now, women are being raped by the cartels as part of the requirement to cross this border. A child will die on the border today. And we're simply, a secure border saves lives, and that's what we're doing.
Tom, let me ask you about that.
Amen, brother.
I want to ask you about
Amen.
the cartels, and I do want to ask you about the trafficking. In your memoir, and I took note of this, you describe one of the most devastating moments in your career. You say in your book that you saw the back of a truck filled with dead bodies of those being trafficked. Are you worried at all that this mission could actually lead to the deportation of trafficking victims or even cause those who are being exploited to not report it?
No. I mean, I think we made it clear. If you're a victim of trafficking, there's actually benefits to be given to you. As I just said, Worksite enforcement operators, one of the main reasons we're doing it, to find victims of trafficking, because they need a lot of help from the U.S. government. So no, this is about prioritizing the worst of the worst. This is about arresting public safety threats and national security. However, we got 1.4 million illegal aliens in this country who had due process at great taxpayer expense. They've been ordered removed by a federal judge. We have to, those orders don't mean anything. If we go through this whole process, okay, you want to claim asylum? You got that right. You want to see a judge? You got that right. We'll make that happen. But at the end of that due process, if a federal judge says you must leave, if we don't make them leave and execute the orders, then what the hell are we doing? Just shut down the immigration court. It doesn't mean anything anymore. Take the border patrol off the border because there's no consequences. We have to enforce the law.
Yeah, seriously. Seriously.
So let me ask you about the cartels. They've made a clear warning to
Arctic,
you
what's up,
and to the
Arctic?
United
Yes,
States
ridiculous.
that, we're going to escalate our violence. So now we're seeing not only Mexican troops after this deal that Trump made with Mexico's president, and also U.S. troops headed to the border. How are you going to utilize the military? We know what the military can and can't do domestically, but in a scenario like this, how do you plan on using the military? Could they get involved in the violence if the cartels strike?
Yes, and we expect them to. But the Mexican military, President Trump's able to get Mexico, put military in their...
Man, I love the fact that they're sending Tom Homan out. He's on every freaking...
And focus, Trump border czar, Tom Homan. Look, Tom, I have
He's
so
on
many
every
questions.
TV
First of all,
show.
if they're shouting and helping these people get away with bullhorns, how is that legal to get help from the people in the streets? I know they can protest, but that's not what they're doing.
You're exactly right. When they come to they cross the line of impediment, and that's why I'm working very close, starting this morning with Department of Justice, and where do they cross that line of impediment? So they may find themselves in a pair of handcuffs very soon. So working with DOGE on that, get some legal guidance on that. I'm not an attorney. I know what SecOps is about. I know what crossing that line is, but getting DOJ back up on that. So it's something we're looking at right now, Harris. We're not going to tolerate it anymore. This is not a game. When we show up these sites, this is a dangerous job for the men and women of ICE and Border Patrol and all the DOJ agencies. To have that type of interference puts our officers at great risk. Not only the officers, it puts the aliens at great risk because anything can happen when we take our eyes off the goal here. So we're addressing that immediately today. I'm addressing OPSEC today, operational security, how these leaks are happening. We've already identified how this operation got leaked. I'll deal with that today.
Interesting.
So it's all about
Oh, did he say they've already identified how it got leaked? Wow, that's good news.
Controlling the message. I try to be transparent. I promise American people will be transparent in operations, but it's obvious. We can't be having all these different news outlets out there with us on various raids. Bill Maloogian, great guy, but we got a lot of OPSEC concerns we're dealing with right now. But the leak, who we identified today, we'll deal with that today. But it's not a game. I want to put it out to whether it's Governor Phil Murphy, the rest of the people that want to game this. It's not a joke. This is serious business, and they need to stop. Or we won't prosecute them to the Department of Justice.
Look, I know our audience was paying attention when that agent or officer told our reporter Bill Maloogian there have been some intel leaks. Like, those are very specific. So I understand what you're saying. You mentioned my state's governor, Phil Murphy. Yeah, he's trying to walk back the comments that he made about possibly, I guess it would be aiding and abetting if you're keeping somebody on your property. But we'll see what happens. He says that's not what's happening with somebody he thought was on his property or said was. I do want to ask you this because I've heard you say, Tom, that you expect more violence. And you were talking specifically on the border, but why would that be?
Well, look, President Trump is, promises made, promises kept, right? He said he's going to secure the border. The numbers are down significantly.
Love it. I could just have more and more and more Tom Homan. Oh, you know what I was going to do is search. Are the Armory Forger servers back up by any, what is going on? Is anybody able to play Armory Forger right now? Warpig's gaming community. Attention, our NA Armory Forger servers are back up and operational. All right, let's pop in, shall we? Yeah, Vink is playing it. Yeah, I mean, you can play it TLS, but it depends, like, what server is he on? Wow. Yeah, I mean, it looks like all these servers are doing fine. What are people complaining about with the servers being down? Some hackers were looking for Bitcoin. Oh, is that the story? Oh, is this the problem? Is this the problem with the server? Because I've never had it like stall like this. Oh yeah, see, I can't get on. I'm having a session error. I don't know, that must is like how are other people getting on? Is it just kind of like a gamble? Once you get on, you're on? These are all messed up, dude. There's like waiting queues for servers with 20 people. What is FOR? I don't know. Dude, these server queues are ridiculous, dude. Like, what? Vince? Oh, okay. Vince P-Shell? Dude, F it. I don't want to sit here and deal with all this crap. I'm going to end the stream too. Thanks, guys, for checking it out. I'm going to call it early tonight. Peace.